Hello and welcome to the new vlog. I wanted to show you this sock really quick before I rip it out. I have my cuff, I have the leg, the heel, and the foot. And the reason why I'm going to rip it out is because of the seam across the front. My working yarn when I started doing the closure was from on this side of the loom. And I really should have had it on the opposite side. And the reason the seam is visible is because the stitches actually twisted. So I don't like that. I mean, if you like a visible seam, that's fine. I don't. So I'm going to rip it out and start working on a different pattern altogether, and then come back to this at a later date because I really want to use this solid yarn for something other than just a plain sock. So I wanted to show you this before I rip it out. Yeah, I know, a lot of work, but that's okay. All right, now I am using a 64 peg loom. Because I'm going to be doing some lace work, and so I need those extra 4 stitches because of the lace. So here we go. Hello! I mentioned that I was going to rip the sock out, and I have it started. So when I know that I am going to work from the same project, if you will, that I'm frogging, I just work from the project instead of unraveling it and putting it back into a ball. Another thing I wanted to show you was I have mentioned several times on this channel about lifelines. And I wanted to show you what I am talking about. So I have put a lifeline on the loom, and basically it goes through each stitch. And all I use is a piece of dental floss. I get them from the Dollar Tree, cut off some, and then I thread it through each loop. And what this does is, if you are working on, say you're working on a complicated stitch pattern, or you're working on maybe a pattern that's got like a 15 to 20 row repeat, you could put a lifeline in, and then if you mess up, you don't have to take it all the way back out. You just take it out to where your lifeline is. And that lifeline, because it's going through those stitches, it keeps those stitches live so that way you can put it right back on the loom. Now, I will say that with the dental floss and fingering weight yarn, that sometimes the stitch will get your live loop will get a little tight when you're trying to put it back on. Just use your loom hook and grab that loop and pop it back on the peg. It's really that easy. And it will save you a lot of time. So I really suggest getting you some dental floss or some scrap yarn that's a different color. Anything like that. You could also use stitch markers and put them on every loop. But I find that when I do that and they're on the sock for a long period of time, that sometimes they can snag or it can make the stitches a little loose. So I tend to like to use the dental floss instead. So, just wanted to stop long enough to show you guys that, because I've talked about it many times. yeah, I have mentioned many times about using lifelines, and because I'm putting one on this sock, I wanted to pop in and show you guys what it looks like, how it works, and how to put them on. Okay, back to the knitting. Good morning from the lovely homestead. I've got just a little bit of time to knit this morning. Today, hospice is doing a pinning ceremony for my stepfather since he spent so many years in the Air Force. He was in there for 22 and a half years as a nuclear medicine tech, and he is also a veteran. So I'm going to be going into town for that. I'm so happy they're doing this for him. I'm sure he's not going to know what's going on because of the dementia and everything, but it makes me proud for him to be honored. So I'm going to knit a little bit before I go in for that. The whole family's going to be there. Me, my mom, my husband, his son-in-law, and then his 3 grandchildren, my boys. So it's going to be a special day. I did, as I said, restart the sock. I don't know if I've done enough for you to actually see the print yet. This is about 2 repeats so far. And this one takes a little bit longer because it is a lace sock. You know, you're moving the stitches around the pegs to create those special stitches. Good morning. It's pouring down rain. I don't know if you can tell from the view behind me. And it is October 27th, and it is cold. Very, very cold today. We are only getting in the 50s, and with the rain, it's even colder. I understand it's October 27th, but we are below normal temperatures for right now. We are in the camper, and it does have hardwood floors in it. But during the winter time, we lay shipping blankets down on the floor. I know it's not the prettiest, but it does keep the feet a little bit warmer and does help warm the room a little bit more than the fireplace heat and the propane heat pump. Anyway, I finished the sock. Another sock for the book. This time I did a heel flap and gusset, and I actually was able to put in some increases that create the actual triangle like it would if you were needle knitting. Now, I know that it looks funny. It looks like you have 2 heel turns here. Trust the process. If you purchase the book whenever it comes out, or if you do any of my future patterns with this heel flap and gusset, and this is what you come up with, trust me, trust the process. It does work. And by doing those increases, it creates more stitches across the instep, which is the top of your sock. That is good for somebody that has a very high arch. For me personally, I do not have a high arch, but I have a wide foot. Now, Having said that, if I typically use a 60 peg loom. Going up to the 64 peg loom is just a titch too big. So I can do either heel. I can use a shadow wrap heel or this heel and still have enough room. But with the wide foot, doing the gusset type sock just gives you a little, or me anyway, gives me a little bit more fabric on the top of the foot for that wide foot. Now, I am going to show you what it looks like on. It does have this cute little lace pattern. I decided to only do that on the leg of the sock and not the actual foot. I did do the Kitchener closing on the loom. Normally you would not see a line like this, but it just so happens that the yarn is just a little bit lighter there, and the stitches were just a titch too loose. So I did go, even though I tightened them on the loom, and that happens sometimes. So if it happens to you, don't get discouraged. So I actually went on the inside of the sock and I seamed that seam just a little bit tighter to kind of close up any holes that may have happened with that closing. Once it's blocked, that's going to blend a lot more. You know what? I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. So let's try it on, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now, remember, I do have these shipping blankets on the floor, so you're going to get to see the nice, pretty chevron print on them. And here we go. And here is the sock on. And I do have that one little bit of tail hanging out here. When I do my ends, secure my ends, I always leave a little bit of a tail because you never know if you're going to need it as far as the sock stretches out or whatever. You might need that little bit of tail left on. So I always seem to do that. Now, here is the side of the sock, and here is our little bit of gusset increase. This part here is what looked like our extra heel turn, and this is the actual flap and heel turn. So as I said, trust the process, because once you put the sock on, it does flatten out and creates a very nice sock. Now, because we are doing the heel flap and gusset, we actually start counting the foot once we finish the actual increases, which for me, that measures up right even with my ankle bone. So you're going to do more heel stitches and maybe less foot stitches. So I used 55 rounds for the foot. I typically knit anywhere between 63 to 68-ish rounds on the loom for the foot, depending on the heel. So with the heel flap and gusset, say this is the back of your, or the front of your heel. When you are finishing the bottom part of the heel turn and you're doing your increases and your decreasing, you're actually working more towards the bottom of the foot. So that makes the actual rounds for the foot less than you would normally do. So what I'm saying is, if you are using one of my patterns that has the heel flap and gusset in it that I have designed, you will start your measuring in the actual heel turn pockets. So let me show you what I'm talking about. You will actually start your measuring of your foot up here. Okay. So even though we have done all of this right here, that is still considered technically part of the heel, but this part sits on the bottom of the foot. So it's actually part of the foot length as well. I hope that made sense. So when you're measuring it and you're putting your ruler in, the tip of your ruler will go right here. So that is at the very bottom of the heel flap and in the corner of the heel turn. Don't measure from here, your extra little funky turn. Measure from the first one. So yeah, that one is finished. I have casted on the cuff for the second one, and I am going to be starting the leg and then working on the foot for that one, and that will be done. So I am going to stop this video here for this week's vlog. Next week, I have some new toys. Well, they're coming today. Some new toys to show you for the camper. I have a Amish yarn swift and a Ashford electrical yarn winder at the house. But they are too cumbersome and heavy. Not necessarily heavy, but heavy to move back and forth from house to camper, house to camper, house to camper. And honestly, the Ashford ball winder is a very expensive and big investment. I purchased that back when I was dyeing yarn and needed something electric, and that was before all these other ones have come out on the market. So I purchased a new electric yarn winder and Swift. The Swift is not electric, but I purchased them and they're smaller, a whole lot less expensive that I can use here in the camper. So I am going to be doing a unboxing and true, honest opinion. The first time we use it is going to be here in the camper on video. So that's going to be coming next week. And then I'm just going to continue with the vlog type video for the video for the other day of that week. With everything going on, life, it just seems to be working out the best for me. And honestly, the vlogs are the ones that seem to be getting the most comments and views. So you guys seem to like them. And, that's why I'm here. I'm here for y'all. So, as I said, I'm going to end this video here. And until next time, stay warm, stay cozy, and may all your socks find their matches. Bye.